Hey, everybody, welcome to another edition of Spotlight on Addiction and Recovery. I'm your host, Scott Jones. I want to thank you for joining us today. And remember, if you like this show or any of the material that we're doing, make sure you like us, join our Facebook page, join our YouTube channel, subscribe, and make sure you sign up so you get the alerts when we have new shows. We got new stuff all the time. But I'm excited today because this is actually one of those shows when I get to have a little more fun because I'm with somebody that I actually like this guy. I mean, and there's not many that I do. So this is really good. This is Tim Roberto. And you're from now. I'm gonna slaughter this. Let me take a shot. Mandala Treatment Center.
Correct.
It's not Mandala?
Well, it depends on how you want to present it. You know, some people say mandala, some people say mandala. I say mandala.
Mandala. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what we're going with. If you think it's something else, well, you're wrong. You can be wrong. But yeah, you've been working at Mandala, and I don't know if we might have run into each other during that time. But you
Yeah.
also came and did one of our trainings for ATC.
I did.
And
I did.
so we've been chatting for a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been at Mandala probably a little over 2 years now.
Okay.
That's when I would meet you on property, and then I did your course, which was phenomenal.
Well, thank you.
Well, it was an awesome experience. You know, it was probably one of the best classes I've done in a while. And I've done a lot of classes in the last 14 years
Oh, really?
of my sobriety. Oh yeah, yeah, it was great. You presented it great.
Sweet. Should have charged you more. So
Yeah, I wouldn't have complained.
terrific. Terrific. I lose out again. But let's talk. We'll talk about some personal stuff because you're a great guy. You're very funny, and you got a lot of good stuff. But and we both come from the Jersey area, so that's good. But right now, let's just give them a little teaser about Mandala. And now Mandala's been around for a long time, but there's been a change. Just so
Correct.
they know that the Mandala they might have heard about 5 or 6 years ago,
Correct.
it's not the Mandala today.
Nowhere near it. Nowhere near it. There's two people that came in and took over, and they've done an incredible job the last about 3 years now. They've been in the field for a very long time. They're very clever, very dedicated. There's multiple reasons for the dedication. There's multiple reasons for their constant goal,
Right.
to improve and to raise the bar, and they're doing an amazing job. Like I said, I've been there over 2 years, and the conversion I've seen has been amazing. I've been in the field for 14 years, so I know it when I see it.
Well, it's incredible. I know I worked up in the area, actually in the same complex of buildings for a short period of time, and I got to know Alexis, very well. And I know that she is a force. And when I mean a force, I don't mean that in like a bulldozer kind of way, but she, if she sees something that needs to be fixed, if she sees something that needs to be done, it gets done. And she is just full force. And it seems like that's kind of how everybody operates. They follow her example quite well, don't they?
Absolutely.
Do it the right way, but do it.
100%. She's a no nonsense type of person. She's very professional, but she also has a very loving, very kind side to her too. But,
Right.
But when it comes to the quality of services provided, the clients, there's zero, just zero with her. And if you know Alexa, it's just the way it is, and thank God.
That's exactly the thing I took away is that she will not compromise when it comes to client safety, client experience, and of course, client success. She will not compromise on that. And that's very refreshing in a day when people will kind of bend whichever way the wind blows just to stay in business. And sometimes the clients get lost in that.
100%. It's that shuffle, It's the shuffle, and I'm grateful that I have that opportunity because my history dictated a place like that too. When I first came around in sobriety, it was an old school, not really in your face, but they just didn't compromise. They didn't blow with the wind. Drugs kill drug addicts, alcohol kills alcoholics, and that's all they wanted to know and needed to know.
Right.
And this is what we see work all the time, and this is what we're studying.
Yeah.
It's just boom, 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 and it worked for me. And in these last 14 years, I see it work for most people.
So is that your 14 years clean and sober?
Yep, April 15, 2007. I'm also known as Tax Day Tim.
Well, our good friend Karen, her sobriety date is April 1st.
Oh, wow.
So what would her nickname be?
Wow.
April Fools.
April Fools, Karen. And we just coined it, everybody.
There we go. April Fools, Karen. Sorry, Karen. She's going to watch this and kill us both. But yeah, so you'll be coming up on 15 then, right? Or is it coming up on 14?
14.
Coming up on the 14.
Yeah,
Yeah.
April 5th, 15, 2007.
Excellent.
Totally.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Let's take a break for a second from all the other stuff and just to talk about this. What have you learned in 14 years about being sober? I mean, have you learned some good life lessons? I mean, is there things that you were like you never would have believed?
Yeah.
I know it's a broad question, but
yeah, well, yeah, it's taught me. I mean, it continues to teach me, I think one of the greatest gifts that it's taught me, if I feel like I'm stuck like Chuck, it's a message to me that, Tim, you need to start doing something, because life is about growing, sobriety is about growing. I'm getting closer, sort of say, to the end on a daily basis, but for some reason I'm given this tremendous gift to grow to the day I take my last breath.
right.
So it's an incredible opportunity. Every day I can be the best version of myself because I have this gift of choice. And with the gift of choice, I can be the best version of myself. So I think that's like the ultimate eye opener, sort of say, that it's given me.
Yeah.
That I never lived like that. You know what I mean? I was either future tripping or shaming myself of my past. I never lived now.
In the present, there's so many things that just we never saw.
Never.
And
Never.
people always come in and they're like, I don't believe in God, or I don't believe in miracles. And I'm like, if you could see the things you did to yourself and the result that you still survived, if you could see that as the miracle that it was, you would not be having this conversation.
No.
I mean, this is like every day was almost like walking into speeding traffic on like a LA freeway with a blindfold on, but somehow we still made it through.
It's incredible, if that's not a power greater than ourselves right then and now, I don't know what else
Oh,
is.
absolutely. Something was guiding us. We certainly had a higher purpose than to die like that.
Well, there's 100%. I mean, look what we're doing here right now. Look what you've done in your life, and there's so many people that we don't know who we've affected, but I know people like immediately in my life that know people, and those people know people, and those people. It's that ripple effect is the best deal in town. Like,
it's the best thing in the world when you realize you might be just one small little pebble, but in a still pond, the pebble ripples will reach all the way across the pond. We just don't see it anymore. Sometimes it's under the water that's happening.
Correct.
But there is movement that's caused by what we do. So you have to be conscious about how you act and what you do, right?
Yeah, 100%. And I practice that, with prayer and meditation, mindfulness. I start my day, and I haven't missed a beat in 14 years. I picked up when I was 11, already feeling uncomfortable in my own skin. And I was homeless in Deerfield Beach, Florida at 44. And I felt, just the pounding that I took mentally, physically it's incredible. It's nothing short of a miracle, because, I always just thought I was a loser and I'll never amount to nothing. My father was this well-known doctor in Manhattan. I was born in Brooklyn. I grew up in North Jersey. My dad was this big doctor in Manhattan, and, the stigma, and that was, oh my God, and I felt so within a matter of no time, just.
Yeah, because you're looking at all these benchmarks that you never believe you're going to make. So it already starts to put this stigma on you, this heavy weight of the world that I'm never going to add up to anything.
Correct.
So sometimes it's easier to go deeper into that dark hole and try to avoid all the sunlight, because it's painful.
Dark. It gets very dark.
Yeah.
And I always, I didn't, when I work with a lot of people now.
Yes.
And it's just the way it is, right? It's part of the deal.
Yeah.
And I tell everybody that I work with, I'll tell the audience now, it's not a moral issue. Drug addiction and alcoholism is not a moral issue.
No.
And I always thought it was,
No.
So I hung my head in shame, and it had me exactly where it wanted me.
The immorality of the behavior, the immorality of even our motivations and everything else is a result of the addiction damaging us to a point. It's not we became addicted because we're immoral. We became somewhat immoral, and immoral in our actions more than that, because of the addiction. But you can, chicken or egg, it really doesn't matter.
Yep.
Here's the thing: without the alcohol and drugs in your body, you got a chance to recreate yourself and be what you want to be. And that's why, and I'll speak for both of us if you don't mind, that's why we do what we do, is because being a part of that miracle on a daily basis, you getting to go to Mandala every day and look at people,
Unbelievable,
and know how they walked in the door and see how they're walking out the door.
Yep.
What does that do for you?
It really inspires me, and it really makes me a very thankful man, and I know there is a God, because that's where I see God. I've always been a frontline guy. I'm not a material guy. I'm a frontline guy, and that's where God shows up for me. And when I can give somebody just a little bit of hope, that to me is just fascinating. So I love detox. I facilitate groups in the detox. I'm a certified addictions counselor with the Florida Certification Board, and I've been doing it now for many years. And that's just my wheelhouse. The more broken they are, the more I'm at home. Because that's just the brokenness is something that can be fixed, like physically, people in recovery are screwed.
Yeah.
Because if it goes in, we can't stop. That's our allergic reaction, but it's
Right.
okay if somebody has a EpiPen, and, if we were friends with our buddy, we just picked them up. Hey, Joe, did you grab your EpiPen? Oh, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Because that's cool. Because if he gets bit, he has the well, but it's not cool when I drink, because I don't like how I feel. That's not cool because I get it.
Right.
Alcohol has my allergic reaction. It's not an EpiPen. It's more.
Yeah.
And when I take in more, of course, everything happens. I get inebriated, and I do stupid things.
And it's this reaction, this really, really graphic reaction that we have.
It's incredible.
to the alcohol or the drugs or whatever your preference might be. And certainly this is the same with other process addictions, whether it be sex or gambling or other things. But one of the things I was thinking when you were talking about that is, like, there's people out this world that are allergic to peanuts. You know that?
Yeah, I do.
And this is a serious allergy.
If they came into Mandala with a peanut allergy, to be blue signs, red signs, hot pink sign,
Absolutely.
no peanut butter and jelly, peanut,
Yeah. And if you have a child who's allergic to peanut butter, you would not stand in front of them making a sandwich with Skippy saying, "Don't touch this," while you're smothering. You wouldn't even have it in your house. But so many times our clients are going home to houses where they're like, they don't clear the liquor out of the house. They don't do that.
Yeah.
And it's like, do you not understand? Yes, maybe one sip will not physically kill them the way maybe a peanut allergy will. But we got this other part of our disease. And let me explain it this way. A peanut allergy person does not walk down the peanut butter aisle and fall on their knees and cry because they can't have peanut butter. They simply say, "I can't have it, I accept that."
Yep.
An alcoholic will pass by the liquor, and the wheels will start turning.
Obsession.
And you'll start the sweaty palms.
Yep.
Not forever, by the way. I'm not one of those people. It doesn't happen forever.
No.
It does go away. But this is a real, like serious reaction we have.
Mental and a physical allergy.
Yes.
The obsession, I get whacked both ways. I have a mental obsession with a physical allergy, and once the obsession wins, I put in. Then I'm driven by that phenomenon of craving, and I can't stop. Because once the phenomenon of craving kicks in, all rational thought is anesthetized. Like,
Exactly.
It's game over.
So with all these other allergies, you don't have that mental obsession. You simply have an acknowledgement and an understanding that you can't have these things.
Because it's an intellectual process.
Right.
Right. Alcoholism, it's not an intellectual process. Some of the most amazing people, like Scott himself, he's a great, I've met some of the most incredible people in recovery. We're resilient. We got tenacity. We got smarts. We got all kinds of skills. It's unbelievable. But when we were in our addiction, we had great coping skills, like phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like addicts are the only people I know that can leave the house with no money and get high for a week.
I always say that. I wake up in the morning, don't have $1 in my pocket, don't even have lint in my belly button, and I'll still find a way to get a drink.
Right?
Yeah.
But we have no coping skills.
Yeah.
Great coping skills, no coping skills.
I like that.
Right?
I like
So,
that.
but addiction for me, I'll speak for me. I don't know about Scott, but we seem to be on the same page with
Yeah.
a lot of stuff. I believe addiction's 100% treatable
Absolutely.
because physically I'm screwed, but here's our gift. We get to change our thinking because it's our thinking that keeps putting it in, nothing
Right.
else.
Right.
And that's the gift. And in this transformation, in this conversion, like Scott was talking about, that obsession's removed.
Yeah.
I think about it because I believe I'm just wired to do what I do. I'll think about it, and I had some other substance abuses in my past. It was, cocaine, and then that turned into crack cocaine. But I'll see things sometimes, and I'll associate, but the obsession's been removed.
Absolutely, and I think it's partially also that when you start to build a life that you value, the other part, the old life, loses its value. And so you still may look at it. I mean, I can't remember the last time, but I know there were times when I'd smell liquor, which was my thing, scotch and different things, and I'd smell it and I'd think, boy, that smells good. But then I wouldn't carry it too much further than that. But it was still a slight reaction to it. But I've got so many things in this side of the scale of my life, which is my family, my friends, my job, my health, even my beat up ass car and everything else, that if I put a bottle of scotch on that side, there's no comparison. This has all the weight and the value in my life. So part of that lifting of the obsession is a spiritual lift. Part of the lifting of the obsession is a practice, because your practice is not using. The other part of it is that it loses its value. Now, that could still come back if I forget to be grateful. That's why they say attitude of gratitude. If I forget to be grateful and value the things that I have, it could come back. But as I live my life today, I value all the right things and I devalued the wrong things.
Yeah, sobriety for me, I can totally relate to that. Sobriety for me created a life to where I don't want to use.
It doesn't even fit, right?
It's just...
Does it even make sense to put that into your life right now,
Yeah, I can just see the truth behind it.
Yeah.
It's a total lie. Like Vegas has nothing on alcoholism or drug addiction. The illusion, like the literature states, is astonishing. It's unbelievable. So,
Tim, it's all built on an illusion. And it's all built on a lie.
100%.
As a matter of fact, we even use the verbiage. We call it getting high.
Yeah.
Well, what part of being high is actually high when you think about it? Your intelligence is lower. Your reaction time is lower. Your emotional content and your emotional connection is lower. Your ability to control your bladder is lower. Yes, I was one of those guys. Everything was lower about me.
That's great.
I was lower and slower, but we call it getting high. Why? Because it's all part of that grand lie that somehow it elevates us, and it doesn't. It brings us down.
Yeah, it just creates an illusion that everything's changing, but nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed. You're digging deeper into the hole, but somewhere in your mind's eye, you're seeing blue skies, but they're not there. Yeah. It's not real.
Yeah.
But every time you're getting further from there, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah, totally. That's the thing. It's like the ultimate separator. Drug addiction, alcoholism, the enemy, the dark side. I don't care what you call it. It all boils down to it separates us from self. And if I'm separated from self, I'm separated from everything else. It's kind of like having the alcoholic father or the alcoholic mother or whatever, You can't transmit what you don't have.
Right.
So if I'm checking out, getting high,
yeah,
I'm getting high for one reason. I don't like how I feel and I want to leave my body. So even when I depart, I'm separated from self.
Right.
So, and that's what it is. It's the great separator. It separates us from everything and anything, regardless of the consequence.
Right. We can go all day, and probably if we could take callers or something, they would tell us everybody's got a different idea. Okay, it's hereditary. Okay, it's in your genes. Okay, it's this. Okay, it's because of trauma. Trauma causes this and that. Here's what I'm going to, and even people who argue whether it's actually a disease or not a disease. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. It was ruining my life. I had to get it out of my life, and I had to do something different. That's what we need to focus on. If you're happy calling it a disease, fine. If you don't like disease, call it a dis-ease. So you're not at ease.
Yeah.
Call it whatever you want to call it. But whatever you call it, see the truth. You said the big word right there. Everybody says, well, what's going to get you sober? God, this, that. We got all these lists of things, but the biggest one is going to be truth. Because
Yeah.
as long as you still believe the lie, you're going to want to go back and do it. Sometimes the lie is even that it brings you closer to God.
Yeah. Yeah, but I've taught myself, a lot of disciplines in my recovery, because when I was drinking and drugging, I was the most undisciplined guy I knew.
Right,
And the most inconsistent guy I knew. So I practice discipline today, and there's a discipline to recovery. But the same principle. So one of my disciplines is principle, like principles can go either way.
Right.
So I can believe the lie. So if I'm believing a lie, then I'm living a lie, right?
Yeah.
But today I don't believe in alcohol. I believe in myself, and I believe in the power of God and working with other people like me. And whether I'm right or wrong, it doesn't matter. It's a belief system.
No.
But the only thing I need to know is I like the way this belief system today treats me compared to my old belief system. That's all I need.
Absolutely.
That's all I need to know. But it wants me to try and figure it out. It wants me to try and connect the dots.
You'll find the answers that work for you if you seek them.
100%.
If you seek them. Anybody who says we all have to have the exact same answer, they're wrong. Okay?
Correct.
That's not
Correct.
I'm sure even at Mandala you understand that everybody's experience is going to be somewhat different.
100%. And I'm very mindful of that. I've educated myself that, who am I to deny somebody of their due process in life?
Exactly.
I'm not that great. I don't have that kind of power, but I think just as important, it's totally disrespectful and very inappropriate. Who am I to say what worked for me works for Scott, or what worked for Scott works for Jane or Karen? It's just not right. I'm responsible for the message, that I found that worked for me, but I'm not in the business of outcomes. I'm just not.
Right.
I don't have it like that, nor do I pretend to have it. I just don't have it like that.
The goal when you're getting sober or clean or whatever you want to be is to find yourself again. Your authentic self. Figure out who you are and what you connect to. Not the lie of the drug, not the pain, not the shame, not the guilt, but to get beneath all that and figure out who is Scott.
Correct.
What does Scott need to rediscover in his life and discover anew so that he can have a good life. And I discovered things like friendship like this, and I've discovered things like music, and I've discovered things like being of service, even when I don't have to be, but just being of service. And I also found things like treating myself well.
Amen.
Amen. Enjoy yourself. Watch a silly TV show once in a while. Do those kind of things. Laugh. Oh my God. People who don't laugh, you're not going to make it. I'm telling you right now. You got to laugh.
You got to laugh.
I mean, but that's such a personal thing for everyone to find that. Some people are like, well, I don't want to get sober because I don't want to be one of those zombies. It's like, you're a zombie now. When you get sober, you become an individual. Now, we all share a bond, but you're a total individual. It's the coolest thing.
Yeah, and all that, I don't, it's just getting sober is boring. That's all part of the pimp.
Yeah.
It's like alcoholism, drug addiction, it's one giant pimp. You know what I mean? You're totally pimped out, and that's such a lie because, when I'm not authentic and I love that word too, authentic.
Yes.
Well, there's nothing synthetic about how I feel or how you feel or how the audience feels. Human beings are designed to feel, and there's nothing synthetic about that,
unless it's created by a drug. Then it is synthetic.
Correct, but without the drugs, we have this creative intelligence about us. If you really think about it, I'm not trying to put stabs and lightning bolts and all that to it, but if you really think about it, you and I, out of millions, landed on the surprise.
Yeah.
And everything in that moment was determined.
Right.
For some crazy reason, that wasn't the case, and another guy won because Scott and I won, but another guy won, and for some crazy reason, we were still here. There's no way we would look the same. I'm a righty. I might have been a lefty. I got blue eyes. I might have brown eyes now.
Right.
So that's why I love that word. I'm perfect just the way I am.
Right.
And when I've been separated from myself, because like you said, childhood programming.
Yeah.
Remember the Rubik's Cubes? Click, click. I'll give you something to cry about.
Yeah.
Click, click.
I'll give you something to cry about. That was my whole childhood right there,
But, so I believe I'm perfect just the way I am, in a very humble, simple way. But life, programming, it's not my fault. It's my programming. separated me from this authentic self. So I practice a lot of authenticity to the best I can. And a lot of recovery literature always talks about truth, to thy own self be true. Honesty, rigorous honesty, if you want to talk about the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, right? Next, we went on a course of rigorous honesty.
Right.
Because there's something about honesty in myself. One of the great things I learned, I never had to remember what I said. But I was a liar. I had to remember everything I said.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, that's the ultimate, is the honesty has to be within. I have to honestly acknowledge how I feel. I have to honestly acknowledge whether that I'm engaged or disengaged from something or someone.
Yep.
I have to honestly acknowledge all of those things that, even the simplest acknowledgement that we have a hard time with, which is, I don't know. I don't know. That's the hardest thing for me to say. It's like I watch Jeopardy all the time. I love Jeopardy. And I found myself, and I'm pretty good. I love trivia, because years in radio, I did trivia and everything.
Yeah.
So I do pretty good. But when I don't get one, I almost have to bite my tongue not to say, oh, I knew that, but and I say, I didn't know that. I did not know Indira Gandhi's shoe size, but still, I want to say, yes, I knew that. It's because it's just almost ingrained in me, not to know that I don't know.
Yeah.
But once I learned to know what I don't know, my life became better.
And that's okay.
Because I started to learn.
Yeah. But even if you don't know something, it's okay.
Yeah.
We've had programming in our life when we said, I don't know, people, what's wrong with you then? How many times we got to die? It's okay.
Yeah.
But a lot of us use it when we're in our addiction as a barrier, as a shield. I don't know. Why did you do that? I don't know. And I work with people, whether it's, individually, life coaching, addiction field, TDOCs, residential level of care, sponsees. I always let them know that, listen, man, I really believe in you. And when I hear a guy that I really believe in, another human being, has this creative intelligence about him that was a little speck, and for 9 months had everything he needed. And then you mean because you from one breath, you went from in to out in one breath, you lost all that? I just can't.
Yeah.
So they go, I don't know. And I said, look, man, not that you're lame, but what you're saying, that's just totally lame. I can only imagine what would happen to your life if you began to know.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Right?
The problem is with knowledge comes responsibility. If I know the right thing to do, if I don't do that right thing, it's by my choice. But if I pretend I don't know, it's basically pleading ignorance.
There you go.
Yep. And by the way, ignorance is not bliss. It's only blissful to the ignorant themselves.
Yeah.
It's not bliss. Okay? That's the lie. But with knowledge, you have to be responsible for your activities and your behaviors. As long as I could sit there and say, oh, I didn't know you couldn't hit somebody in the head with a hammer, then I'm trying to absolve myself. So, God, it's all one big circle, Tim.
100%.
And just being yourself and being authentic and being out there, it's so much nicer. It's not always easy, but boy, it's so much better.
Oh my gosh, it's night and day, because we're honoring ourselves. We're beautiful just the way we are. We just don't believe we are. I work, I'll just keep referring it to all the people I work with.
Yeah.
I work with women sometimes in their 70s still struggling with alcohol. And I ask them this one question: you're still listening to what your father told you, aren't you?
Yeah.
And a lot of them break down. So obviously that's a yes. And then and then that's the part where people like me and you or other professionals in the field can build these people up, because right then they just indicated their breaking point,
Right, yeah.
Still listening to it, so.
Yeah, they'll give you the little nuggets that you can build on, and you learn how to do that. But sometimes it's really, those walls get seriously high. That's one of the things that we learned about that we taught in the intervention course.
Yeah.
Is when you go up against somebody's denial, you could spend all day with a pickaxe. You're getting nowhere. You've got to find another way to connect with that person.
Correct. Because you're going up against the illness. You're going up against the disease, and you're not going to win.
That can only be dismantled from the inside.
Correct.
So you have to get on the inside to help them, or they have to be aware of their own insides to help themselves.
Correct.
But you cannot just... That's why the old thing about forcing and shaming somebody into sobriety and submission does not work.
No.
I'd say it's maybe 1 out of 10,000 times you might get somebody where that's going to work on. But basically, all you do is you're reinforcing that denial system of
Yeah.
theirs and building the wall thicker, right?
Yeah, I mean, I take a look at the family dynamics. I take a look at what's going on with the mom and dad. You know, I would call it, through my education, I would call it the family homeostasis. You know, it's the
Right, right,
family
yeah.
norm. You know, what's going on. And then, you know, like you said, when you're working with a guy that's in his addiction, or a woman that's in their addiction, and you've hit that wall, and I stop, I meet them where they're at, because I'm not going to go up against that at that moment.
Yeah.
I'm going to start working with the family.
Right.
Right, and I've learned that through your course too. You've taught a lot on that too. You gotta start looking at what's going to start working in that moment. So as a certified interventionist,
Yeah.
I've learned that, you know, in these moments, where to go and what to do, and how to proceed. So, like, you know, if they're stuck like Chuck and they're in it, then I go to people that have a rational, or their thoughts are a bit clearer, and then we work on with them. But I also like to point out, if I have the chance, you know, what their illness, not what they're doing. I don't want to make it like them, because then they're going to look at it as that moral issue again. I'm just a piece of,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
your illness is not a spectator sport. Everybody gets to play.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I might read a letter from the mom, I might read a letter from the dad, or the
Right,
the girlfriend. So yeah, it's pretty intense.
So I'm really happy to hear that you found some value in the intervention course.
Awesome.
And of course, if you're interested in becoming an interventionist, you can go to atceducation.com and take advantage. We have our full courses online. If you happen to be in the South Florida area, give us a call. You can go on atceducation.com and see if we have any live events near you. But if not, we have the full course online, so check it out. And I appreciate the kind words about that. But I want to talk again about, well, first of all, you're working in treatment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Us alcoholics and addicts, we should know better than to work with people like us. I know what I did to people. Why am I going to put myself in that position? But I do it anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, what is it that really motivates you to do what you do? I mean, look at, you're a smart guy. You're not hard to look at. You're funny. You could probably do a lot of things. Why do this? Why work with people in addiction?
Well, I think, you know, it's all God's grace. You know, I lost my dignity. I lost my self-respect. I destroyed my parents. I was a horrible brother. I shredded my ex-wife's lives. I had 2 boys that didn't ask to be brought into this world. I put them in this world, and I shredded their lives because I didn't like how I felt. It was just so nasty and so evil, and finally, you know, this miracle happened. That's why I tell everybody, like, you know, everybody's recovery or their sobriety, it all starts in one sober minute. It just does. So this fella that I was in the Marine Corps with, back in our 20s, we were both from Jersey, another Jersey guy, you know, Belleville, Jersey area. And he had a difficult time because we came out of the Marine Corps. And then he went right into being a Newark police officer, which is just like Afghanistan. And Charlie, what are you doing? Didn't you have enough already? And he's just one of those guys, you know.
I saw a guy in Camden with a T-shirt that said, "At least I'm not in Newark." Right?
Did you really? You just chicken boat. Is that a boat?
It's a Jersey joke for all of our Jersey friends. And if you have an addiction problem, you've either visited or lived in Jersey. Now we know that. You know, that's one of the rules. You can't have an NA meeting without you can need a coffee pot, 2 people, and 1 person from Jersey, or else it's not an NA meeting. So.
Yeah, go Jersey. Yeah.
Yeah, we're proud. We're proud. The only state in the country that it's free to get into the state. You got to pay to get out.
Yeah,
the bridges are all free.
Yeah, it's kind of like the system, you know.
Yeah, well, they want you to save your money
it.
for the needles and stuff when you get there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But it's like the system too, right? It's easy to get in. It's hard to
get
get out.
Hard to get out. So I understand why you're doing this. I do get it.
Yeah.
I do get it. It's, if you're like me, you don't just dust it off either. I mean, you take the losses personally. You know, it doesn't kill you.
No.
But
no.
I don't. I will lose sleep, and I will worry, and I will be upset when things don't work. And unfortunately, there's a lot of times it doesn't work.
Yep.
So Tell me, we all have those moments where we probably put our head in the pillow and say, "What the hell am I doing?
Yeah.
This is too hard." But then the next day something happens, and it's like, now I know why I do it. Do you have those moments?
Oh, a lot, because it's a very, I think we might have touched on it before, like it's a very dark field,
Yeah.
it's very, very depressing, a lot of loss, a lot of sickness, a lot of brokenness, a lot of families being shredded apart. It's very evil, sort of say. So when I get those moments, I turn to God,
No, yeah.
and I just ask for the strength. God, please help me, because I just don't know what I'm doing, but it's getting really hard. And then all of a sudden, man, it's just this thing happens, like, and it's been working for me for 14 years, and I don't try to explain it. I just try to live my life accordingly to honor the gift.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so Charlie dropped me off there, and this miracle happened, and I think it's just part of the unwritten rule, part of that contract that nobody signs. Just kind of comes automatically, like,
Right.
you've been given this tremendous gift. I spent my whole life trying to get people to understand me. You know what I mean? You don't know what I'm going through if you had my problems. Well, I understand it, but I was trying to get people to understand my alcoholism, my drug addiction with other people that never experienced it. So how the heck can you get somebody to understand what they've never experienced?
Right.
So when I meet somebody just like me, I tell them my story first to build that bond and that trust, because our stories, we might have gone different paths, but we all end up in that same cul-de-sac,
Right.
right?
Right.
Lonely, despair, brokenness, financial troubles,
Yeah.
and
Just basically that like you said, we all end up in that darkness. And whatever the makeup of it is for any particular person, it might be
correct.
divorce for one person, it might be
Yeah,
jail, overnight in jail for another, or it might be long. We don't. But we all end up in that dark place where we feel there's no place left. There's no hope.
yeah,
And that's really where the bottom is. The bottom lies when you don't see any light anymore.
correct. And when another guy like me talks to me, and he moves through his story, sort of say what it was like, what happened, and what I'm like now, and I can hear that. It's the first guy that I can relate to, like, because I spent my whole life trying to explain to other people that never experienced what I experienced,
Right, right, yeah.
and now all of a sudden this guy's telling my story. So it's like I'm honoring like Bill and Bob, the co-founders of AA, because they started this whole movement. And if people like you or my first sponsor didn't grab that baton and actually do this program, I would have never maybe not have had what I had either. So it's kind of like my duty to keep passing this baton, to honor all the men and the women that have passed it prior to me.
I remember the first time somebody actually told like a part of my story in their story. And I was actually mad. So I'm like, who's this son of a bitch been talking to, right? I go to my sponsor, I'm like, you've been talking to people? But then I figured out it happens. And if you're open enough, you'll hear your story in everyone else's story in
100%.
some way.
100%.
In some way.
100%.
So, before we finish up, I want to talk a little more about Mandala because, like I said, first of all, the facility is beautiful. I mean, let's just talk about that. That is absolutely, it's clean. It is very, very professional.
Amen.
It is an excellent environment. The bedrooms and the setup of the whole thing is comfortable.
Yep.
But it also doesn't fool you. It's not on the beach riding ponies and, going on boat rides. This is treatment.
Correct.
But it's done in a way that is very professional, and you feel like you're in an environment to get help.
Correct.
Does that sound right?
100%, because it all starts from the top down, and Alexis that sets that precedent.
Yeah.
And we're a detox facility, we're a residential facility, so we stabilize obviously physically, and then we'll start with the mental health aspect or the substance use. So we have licensed mental health counselors, we have licensed clinical social workers,
Right.
we have psychiatrists, we have the MDs, because detox res level cares, it's stabilizing, and we do a phenomenal job at it. And I know some people, because I visit my kind, I visit my people on the regular. That's one thing. Another thing I love about my job, I build this culture development. It's kind of like I build the community within the community because I'm the face of recovery. I just am. And I say, it's not an ego. It's just the truth,
Right.
When you're given a gift, for me, I'll only continue to grow by sharing it. So, you have an RN that's, just she has a specific job. You have your primary therapist that has a specific job to get you well fast, right? Because we have this limited amount of time, but then the real therapy is going to start at a PHP level.
Right.
So a lot of these people have a specific job. And that's what they're focused on. Well, I have a specific job too. I facilitate a pretty darn good group on the regular, a couple of days a week with all my kind of people because I can smell me a mile away.
Yeah.
I know everything about it and how it moves and how it talks, and I get that cleared and I put that out there real quick. So we can get rid of all the nonsense, and we have an actual group of recovery that's based on causes. If it's not based on causes, the conditions. If it's not then that, it's childhood programming. If it's not that, it's denial. If it's not, I've just lived it, and I found a way out, and it's extremely powerful. And I've been back in school ever since, too, and I'm still plugging away. And
it's exciting to learn. It's exciting to gain knowledge, right?
You could roll me in, Scott. You could have me as your speaker in a wheel. You could roll me in on a wheelchair.
Yeah.
And I found in my recovery, when I wasn't under siege of my addiction, alcohol. Oh, you people, oh, you guys aren't what you're saying. That was 80 years ago. That's nothing to. If you get rid of that, loneliness is loneliness, depression is depression, resentments are resentment. It has nothing to do with time. So you could roll me in, and I could still have an effect on somebody.
Yeah.
And that's the gift, and I'll never figure that out. It's killing me day by day. But it's like the most courteous murder.
No, I totally get it.
Yeah.
Totally. I mean, with everything I do here with the Addiction Training Center, and we now have a new nonprofit, and we do some other things, and I do a lot of podcasting and stuff. I still find time to go certain places, and I do groups because it keeps me connected.
Amen.
To if I'm not, here's the thing I've learned, and maybe you'll agree with this is. If your recovery isn't important to me, mine can't be.
100%.
I have to care about your recovery and everyone else's recovery as much as I care about my own. Because if I say that they don't deserve it or it doesn't matter, it cheapens my recovery and my journey. I have to care about everybody. And I have to participate wherever I'm called to participate and do it. It's just part of what I am. And it's not a job. It's not a chore. It's not penance. You know what it is? It's great. It's a beautiful thing.
It's great because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's so much empowerment in that.
So wait, you could feel good doing the right thing? That's a new experience for me.
Can you believe that?
Yeah. I thought the only way I'm ever going to feel good is when I get away with something. When I get, I steal money from you, I'm feeling good, But no, you feel good doing the right thing, So somebody comes into Mandala, again, beautiful place, great staff.
Yeah.
How are they treated when they get there?
With dignity and respect, just exactly what they deserve.
It's not sit down, shut up, and do what you're told.
No. People have been saying that for their whole life. And what are we going to do? Create the same environment that they just came from?
Right.
No.
Well, there's some people that believe, Tim, that you got to break them down to build them back up.
I can break a lot of people down, but I can do it also respectfully.
You can do it respectfully, and the truth is, they come in broken.
100%.
Why you got to break something that's already broken? Why don't you show them what they can be and let them start rebuilding right away?
My goal is to show people they're lovable.
Yeah.
And they have worth and they have value because they've never lost the ability to help somebody. People have just never lost the ability to help somebody. And I don't know about their world. I really, but in my world, it means everything to me because somebody like you gave me what I have today, and what I have today is something I always wanted. I just didn't know how to get it.
Right.
So that's priceless to me. Whether you believe that or not, that part I'm not responsible for. But and your audience knows, I know, game recognizes game, and real recognizes real.
That's a true story.
And if somebody's real and authentic and sincere, and you tell somebody that they're worth it, and I believe in you.
Yes.
I see it with my own eyes. I don't need to record. Doesn't matter. I see it with my own eyes, and there's nothing quite like it. So I try to get to see as many people as I know that come in. I get to know them on a first name basis. that's part of my job. You know, I create this community, this culture in the community that they're worth something, and we have to start changing, sort of say, the conversation. Because the conversation you have right now is treating you very poorly.
Mm-hmm.
So they come in, we make them feel at home, we settle them in, we obviously do body searches and luggage,
Right.
you know,
Sure.
that kind
Sure.
of
Yeah.
stuff.
The normal stuff. Yeah.
Correct. And then obviously they're medically examined right away. We get all, you know, we get as much as we can together.
And that's important because there's a lot of places people will go. They don't see a doctor for days and days.
That's just
You know that.
100. Yeah, it's unacceptable.
It is. It's wrong. I mean, it's whether it's a part of like the JCO standards or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just wrong. These people are coming in. They got to be evaluated as fast as possible. You guys make sure that happens, right?
There's no hesitation at all. Boom, 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 boom.
Right.
Everybody, because once they enter, it's our responsibility.
Right.
And like you said, you know, we're a licensed facility. We are a licensed mental health facility.
So it's ACA.
We're an ACA licensed facility.
Wow. Okay.
We're CARF accredited. CARF is an accreditation agency that has the highest level of care
Right.
to get their accreditation, and we're also a joint commission facility too.
See, now, not many people are both CARF and Joint Commission.
No, because CARF is more geared towards the medical, right?
Right, right.
And joint is more towards substance abuse or just treatment. I think.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
If I, you know, don't hold me to it. But I'm pretty
No,
sure.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But usually one person, they'll either get one or the other. To get both, that shows a lot of confidence in who you guys are. That you're willing to put yourselves out there for anybody to examine because you want to be doing the right things.
100%. 100%.
You know, I wish we could talk all day about this stuff. And
All
Tim,
day.
you and I could talk about Jersey and, you know, we could do all of that.
Best hot dog place.
Yeah, I mean, Cumberland County versus Bergen County. We'd have some sort of war going on
Taylor
there.
ham versus pork roll.
Oh, I went to the Amish country. I got a pork roll that was stuffed with sausage and wrapped with bacon from Amish country.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah, they actually give you a cardiologist phone number when they hand it to you.
I
It's
would have
so
just
good.
brought one of my statins with me.
I want to, you know, on the screen is the contact information for not only the website for Mandala, so you can check it out yourself, but also we have Tim's number on the screen. I want you to give him a call directly. You'll answer the phone.
I always answer it. And if I can't, just don't take it personally. Just leave me a message. And
He'll get back to you as soon
I'll
as
get
possible.
right back to you. Yep.
But we also have the information for Mandala if you want to contact them directly. Check out the website. Call and ask questions, right? I mean,
That's what it's all
you have
about.
an absolute right. If you call someplace and want to start asking questions and they act like they don't have time to answer questions, don't go there.
Correct.
You want to talk to them, and if you have the ability to tour, then do that as well, right?
Correct. Knowledge is empowerment.
Yeah.
You know, and we are one of the largest, if not the largest, in-network provider in Florida. We accept almost 35 different insurances. It's unbelievable.
Wow.
It's unbelievable.
Wow.
Very. Yeah.
So the chances that they will be able to help you in one way, shape, or form is very high. Depending, no matter what insurance you have, they probably have something for you. But if not, let's say that they are this rare case where it's something they don't take. Maybe they can't leave their state with their insurance or something. It happens.
Yeah.
What do? Just hang up on them? I'm just asking because I know that happens.
Yeah, no, I would, you know, ask them if it was okay if I saved their number and could I call them back because I have you know, I've been in the business for 14 years.
You'd do a little research for them. You'd help them out.
Yeah, 100%.
Wow.
Yeah, I have a lot of contacts. You know, I've been on a mission. It's like I'm like this traveling missionary. You know, I go all over. You know, I'm going up to Georgia, and in a couple more weeks, I'm going out to the Panhandle. In another week and a half. You know, I go all over because I've been given an incredible gift, and I believe that gift is I have a lot of resources.
I'd wait until it warms up a little bit in the Panhandle before you head up there. Holy cow, they got frogs falling out of trees. I don't know what the hell's going on up there. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Tim, I can't thank you enough for your time, my friend.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. It was awesome.
It's great.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll be able to do this again.
Yeah.
And there's always something to talk about. You know, certainly we'd love to do a little more talking about the intervention training. Also, just what's going on in recovery in our areas and how people can find the help that they need. Even simple things like sometimes finding AA or NA meetings or CA or OA or GA or whatever A you're going to. It's a little harder now because of the COVID and the shutdown, you know. So these are resources that we want to get to. That's what we're here for at ATC. So, again, if you want more information about ATC and our trainings and our information, it's atceducation.com. The information for Mandala is on your screen. If you want to call Tim directly, it's 561-876-8637. And he answers his phone. He loves those 3 a.m. calls.
Oh,
he
yeah.
loves them.
100%.
Loves them. Look at him. He hasn't slept in 14 years. All right. With that, Tim,
Scott,
thank you very much, my friend.
Goodbye. Thank you,
We'll
everybody.
catch you next time right here on Spotlight on Addiction and Recovery.